Welcome to Faithful Resistance from Jefferson Unitarian Church in Golden, Colorado. To respond to the chaos and destruction and fear brought on by the new administration in Washington, we're going to be here every week. We're going to be here to hold each other up and to talk about what we can do together to advance our values: justice and fairness and compassion, equity and inclusion, with love at the center. We don't have to face this alone. We can resist together. In our 20 minutes or so together each week, we'll do two things. Thing one, we'll have a conversation with a passionate community leader to talk about opportunities for action and how we can each do our part. And thing two, we'll share a calendar. We call it Opportunities for Action. Events you can attend, organizations you can join, things you can do as individuals and as part of our JUC community or the larger community. So, thing one. This week's conversation is with Reverend Jen Simon, Assistant Minister at Jefferson Unitarian Church. She may look chill, but she's the one who's been lighting the fire of faithful resistance in our congregation. So welcome, Reverend Jen. We're so glad that you're here for our very first episode of Faithful Resistance. And so my very first question is about that name, Faithful Resistance. What does it mean? Where did it come from?
Sure. So as the current administration came in and ramped up, as you know, there have been a lot of executive orders, a lot's been happening, right? And there is some question as to the constitutionality of a lot of it, but a lot of it has thrown many of us and many of our community partners and our friends and neighbors and loved ones into a state of confusion and chaos, because our immigrant neighbors are being targeted, our trans and LGBTQ folks are being targeted. A lot of folks are having a really hard time dealing with this current administration. And so we feel at JUC especially that our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to support everyone, to buy into the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And we feel that especially in this time, it's important that we as a community are supporting our folks who are members of marginalized identities, who are being specifically targeted at this point.
I know you preached early on in this first part of the administration about it being time to break the rules, which made a few people kind of squirm in their seats, maybe frightened them. Maybe, why do you say it's time to break the rules, and what kind of rule breaking comes with faithful resistance?
Well, so I think a lot of our people are used to following the rules. A lot of us are brought up believing that the way that you are a good citizen or a good person is to obey the rules and to act within the law and within societal expectations. And a lot of us in our careers, including me, have gotten where we are by doing that and learning to do that. But in these times, to put it bluntly, the laws are not moral. And so I referenced in my sermon 1930s Germany, which is a comparison that's being made a lot lately, because there comes a time when you have to realize that what is being done, even if it is legal, it is not moral. It's not in tune with our values. And I think we've reached that point right now. And so it falls to us as a spiritual community to do the next right thing, which is not necessarily always the next legal thing.
Deviousness, I believe you talked about being devious.
I did.
I love. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, some of our folks have been devious for several decades, but it's a spiritual practice that doesn't come naturally to all of us.
Well, some of us were around when there was a lot more of this going on in the 60s, but it's not all of us. And a lot of people have to learn the value of standing up and speaking out. So I love the story that you told that was based on a meme Speaking of being honest or devious, would you go over that for us?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so this was a meme I saw on Facebook, and it said if you are hiding your friend in your attic and the mortal enemy of your friend comes to your door and says and asks, "Is your friend home?" What he is really asking is, "Can I come in and kill your friend?" The answer to this question is no. And then the meme said, "A lot of life works this way." And so in a lot of instances, we are being asked to do things and it's being presented that, oh, we're rounding up criminals. We're just rounding up immigrant criminals. But that isn't the case. That's not what's happening. A lot of folks are being rounded up, and in very few instances are these actually folks who have committed crimes. And so what the current administration is saying they're doing is not in line with what they're actually doing. And so when they come to your door, when ICE comes to your door and says, "Can I come in?" the answer is no. But if they come to your door and say, "Is so and so here?" the answer to that might also be no. Is that legal? Not necessarily, but it's the moral choice.
What you talked about the UU values that call us to faithfully resist. Specifically, what do you refer to?
Well, I could give you several answers to that question. The most straightforward is that as Unitarian Universalists, we have adopted a set of values with love at the center. And loving our neighbors in this instance means keeping them safe. And it means countering the narratives about them. And it means helping them stay with their families. And I think that that in itself is the prime value that we're trying to live out here at JUC and in our communities. I could also talk about our values of our JUC values of equity and inclusion, which are directly under attack right now. I don't know how you can set up against including people and being equitable and being diverse, but that seems to be what the current administration is trying to do. And we believe in, again, the inherent worth and value of every person. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that we are all connected, we're interconnected, and we're all part of physical and spiritual whole. And so when something happens to one of us, we have the right and the responsibility to tend to that person and to keep them safe.
So good. Let's talk about actions. One of the things, there'll be two things we do in these podcast episodes: talk about opportunities for action and then do conversations like this. In our opportunities for action this week, we talk about a brand new thing that's happening at JUC, which is called Mobilizing Mondays. Tell me more about that and what the first Mobilizing Monday includes.
Absolutely. So, as we were talking, as staff and particularly our ministry team, we're talking about providing ways for the congregation to plug in and to help our community members. We realized that one, there was a lot of value in us coming together as a whole, as a congregation at JUC to do some of these things, and also to provide an in for folks who haven't necessarily done a lot of activism or actions or trainings in this way, to help get more people involved and to have a good time together and to strengthen those bonds as a community. So every Monday in March, I, along with Sarah Billerbeck, our Director of Faith Exploration, will be doing something that the congregation and the rest of our community are invited to come along with. So the first one is March 3rd, and we are just inviting everybody to come with us to Shorter AME Church in Denver for an organizing meeting that's hosted by the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition. They've been doing this for the past couple of months, really since the start of this administration, as more and more of the ICE activity has been put out into the community. And so we are going to go and see where the conversation is at this point about supporting our immigrant neighbors.
And then I think it's the 8th, which is another community organizing meeting with Together Colorado. What do you know about that?
Yeah, so on the 8th especially will be a Jeffco meeting, and it is organized by Together Colorado, and we have a new Jeffco chapter that is being organized now. It's pretty new, it's only a couple months old, but we are trying to get as many people as possible to this meeting because it's going to be about organizing and about using our power and how we use power as a community, and how we build power in order to change policy and also to actively support our neighbors in a direct service sort of way. And so the more people we have, the more power we influence over those policy, those legislative decisions. And also to have conversations about what we're hearing in our communities about what the needs are.
You can find out more information, by the way, about all of these things on the Faithful Resistance page of our church website. That's jeffersonunitarian.org. And on the homepage, it'll send you to the Faithful Resistance page. So many things that will be happening over the next weeks and months, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. Thanks today for this conversation.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this.
Now on to this week's opportunities for action. These are some things you can do on your own and some you can do with others. I don't know about you, but I think it feels good to have someone, even lots of someones, at my side when I'm trying something new and courageous. Friday, February 28th, you may have seen this on social media, a national effort called the 24-Hour Economic Blackout. For a full 24 hours, the organizers at the People's Union USA are calling for no shopping online or at fast food, gas, and major retailers. The organizers say mom and pop stores are okay. The goal is to disrupt the economy for one day to send a powerful message of economic resistance. March 3rd, Mobilizing Monday at JUC. This Monday's event is to attend a meeting of CIRC, the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition. The meeting's at 6:30 at Shorter AME Church, 3100 Richard Allen Court in Denver. You can meet at JUC at 5:45 for ride sharing. Saturday, March 8th, you can train as a community organizer. This training is by Jeffco Together Colorado. It's from 9 to 3 at Lakewood United Church of Christ, 100 Carr Street in Lakewood. Here are some other opportunities. Join a JUC Social Justice Task Force, the Community Action Network, the Housing and Poverty Team, the Green Task Force, the UUSC Task Force, and the Food and Nourishment Team. Join the Colorado Rapid Response Network. Members of this statewide network are asked to report and confirm ICE raids and document what they see. Contact your legislators. You can go to 5calls.org to find out the easiest and best ways to call federal lawmakers. And you'll find out more about these opportunities for action on our website, jeffersonunitarian.org. On the homepage, you'll see a link to the Faithful Resistance page. And here's just one more quick thing. If you have ideas for events to include or passionate folks to interview, please email us at faithfulresistance@jeffersonunitarian.org. Do not despair. As we say at JUC, with love at the center, our work as Unitarian Universalists in this moment is the same as it's always been. Hold everyone in love, help one another, and keep doing the next right thing. Go out and do the next right thing.